in the tea. Started a new verse like poetry. You're hiding behind the words you speak, changing the words of the story.
Okay, so actually, that's what I was just about to say. See, I just remembered. You're the first guest going to the second season that has had 2 episodes back to back. I didn't even realize it.
That's special.
And I looked and I was like, oh shit, that's right. Yes, you should. You should. And they're both really good episodes. It was, the one that me and you did about just like generational trauma. And then the love language one.
Mhm.
So good back to back episodes. I was like, oh shit, look at her. Hey. But yeah, love. So today I wanted to have you on for love and poetry.
Yes.
I did this series before, right? And I wanted to do a panel, but the people I was trying to have on it, it was like we could never get all 3 together. So I figured,
Right.
all right, fuck it. I'll do everybody individually.
Cool.
And it actually worked out better that way.
Mhm.
It kept the intimacy of the show, but then it also like it let me see the similarities and the differences and how people feel about writing and stuff. So I wanted to
Yeah.
bring it back. And I have some different poets. So yeah. Well, before we even dive into that, how was your day? How are you feeling? All that good stuff. Here it
My day was peaceful. I filed my taxes.
goes. Okay.
Just I relaxed. I called off work because if I'd have gone to work, it might have been some
Yeah.
issues. So I just decided to take a mental health day.
Listen, I was literally planning on being sick tomorrow. Like,
See, I work
I'm
from
gonna
home
sit there
on
today like
Fridays,
I need.
so I'm cool on Fridays. But I just couldn't do it today. The people I work with are something else. I'm just tired.
I feel that. I feel that shit. Yeah, that's
How was your
definitely.
day?
It was cool. I work from home, so work is fine in the sense I don't have to be around people. But when you work from home, sometimes there are the people who try to be extra managey or
Hmm.
like, you know what I'm saying. And it's like,
Don't
oh, you're in the
micromanage me,
face.
baby. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm doing my job. Do you not see the numbers? The numbers are showing.
Exactly.
Don't you don't have to worry about it. So then it's like I had. It's just I don't know. I feel like working sometimes. Motherfuckers in social intelligence. It's like
Hmm.
I'm more than this job. Don't
Yeah.
think I'm.
Yes.
But yeah, outside of that,
Hmm.
it was a good
That
day.
part.
I meditated.
Adulting sucks. And I try to let my 9 and 11-year-olds see that. Like they're like, well, if you hate your job so much, why don't you just quit? I'm like, just wait till you get older. You'll
Mhm.
understand. Sometimes everything is not so black and white. Sometimes
Yeah,
you just gotta endure through some things because you just can't quit your job every 5 minutes. You're never gonna be
yeah.
fully happy anywhere unless you owning your own stuff. And then
Working for
not even
yourself.
then. So
Yeah, and that's why I'm at. Because like I mean, my biggest thing is like my frustration comes in, and I have to remind myself I have an opportunity. The first time I have a job because
mhm.
especially back in Detroit, like it's still everybody I know of that's looking like struggle. It's like really fucking
Yeah.
hard to find a job in Detroit. So it's like I have to take solace in the fact that I have a job, that I work from home, that like I have all these perks to it.
Yeah.
So it's like breathe. You can deal with this, nigga. Shut the fuck up. Just breathe. Ain't gonna be
That's what
forever.
I have to
Like
tell myself too.
yeah.
I work from home on Mondays and Fridays. So it's
Mm.
it's not a 4 day weekend. It's just 4 days I don't actually have to leave the house if I don't want to.
Right, I feel that. I had a job like that too, and it's just like my thing. I don't know. Once that COVID shit happened, everybody started like having those work from home days. I realized I don't really have to be around these motherfuckers. I'm
Exactly.
I'm, I'm okay. Like
I remember people like, I
it's
can't wait to go back in the office. I'm like, you must hate your family because I will stay
like
home every day. You tripping.
please, fuck. Yeah, but, like I did like so now like with my job, sometimes they're like, hey, we just want to have a little quick meeting. You want to see everybody's faces and have a meeting. Let's make origami today, bitch.
Origami. Oh no, y'all
And
tripping
then
too.
and then have the nerve to be like, can we get everybody on cam, please?
I turn on the
That's
camera as long as you don't tell me to come in the office.
only my camera. I'll be having that bitch. Hey, lawyer. Fuck y'all. Shit.
Oh my god.
Um,
That is the
so
best.
yes, poetry. That is what we are talking about tonight. That's like I love
Oh
writing.
god.
I like switch sometimes. You're fine. You're fine. Between poetry and just like story writing on which one I love more, and then songwriting. So it's just like always, but I think it all still stems from my love of poetry.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, my first question, giving real brown sugar, uh, when did you fall in love with poetry?
I was 5 years old.
Oh, okay,
I
yes,
was
go the
5 years
age.
old. Yes, it was. I was very, very young, and I'm gonna tell you. So I've told you this before that I had a
Hmm.
really terrible mother when I was growing up. So my childhood was a lot of physical abuse from my earliest memories of 3 years old, and I used to hide out in the basement because, funny enough, she was afraid of the dark. So I would just be down in the
Mm,
basement. It would just be this window with just a little sliver of light. I would be super quiet when she would come screaming for
yeah,
me, and eventually she gone and find something else to do with herself. But the woman whose basement it was, whoever lived there before we did not clear out her, like, she had books on the shelves and
mm,
a desk down there with a bunch of paper and pencils and stuff. And there was this little kids book down there that I can't remember the name of, but it had like roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is
yeah,
sweet, and so are you, like little rhymes like that.
yeah.
And then it had a book by Edgar Allan Poe,
Ugh,
and the rest was history. A lot of the
yeah,
words I couldn't fully read or pronounce yet. I was only 5, but I got the gist and just got lost in it and started
yeah,
making up my
yeah.
own, like really remedial type of things. But I fell in love with words.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love that. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
First off, shout out to well, I guess multiple situations in that. I'll say life because I literally saw this quote earlier and I just made it my status like an hour ago. Um, I found my light through my darkness, basically.
Yes.
And it's like, had
Yes.
that not, it's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? But had that not been a situation that happened to you, you wouldn't have been down there and you wouldn't have discovered this thing
And I
and
may have
found
never, yep, yep, yep,
a
yep.
way to, a different way to escape or cope or handle things. So
Yes.
it's like, yeah, like life is
Writing
funny
has
that way. And
always been
like,
cathartic for me. Always.
yeah. So I'll say it's funny because like I've always written, but I didn't add my own emotion to it. It didn't become something that I needed to do for that part of myself until college. Before it
Mm.
was just like something I knew how to do and I liked, and it was like, ooh, like yeah, this is fun. I could do this. Oh, I could do that. Shit, I got skills, boy.
Yes.
What's up? Like, and not ever actually like putting my own feelings into it. Just kind of like writing from stuff I've seen and know, and just my own imagination. And then college hit, dating and going through that shit, and it was just like,
Yep.
and like it sucks, but there was a situation that like broke me.
Mm.
It's like a guy, and it was just like it was a whole thing. And I just remember,
Mm.
like I always wrote, but like I said, I never added emotion. And one day I was just so over, and I didn't know how to get out the emotion. I was so
Mhm.
overwhelmed. I'm like, how do I? I need to get it out. I did talk to a
Help
million
me.
people about it. It's still there.
Mhm.
So it's like I feel like I can't talk to nobody about it no more. Everybody like, all right, then,
Move
like,
on. Time to get over it.
right, like So it's just like I felt alone a little bit actually,
Mhm.
and just full of this emotion I just needed to get out, and I just was like, maybe I can write about it.
Yeah.
And it just started to flow, like I
Mhm.
just like
You
just
see how we
going, and
talk
before
about
I
Mary
knew
J.
it,
Blige? When Mary J. Blige going
yeah.
through heartache, everybody like, I can't wait for that next album.
Oh, that next one.
Because you know she
You see
coming
that
with that
Mary broke up?
emotion. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, and it's and just to even harp it back to Edgar Allan Poe, I think um anything in life can trigger the want to create poetry or write or whatever, but the darkest moments
Hmm.
really purge that out of you. Like
Yes.
that's when you really like the saddest or darkest moments is when it really just comes out.
Yes. But
um
love for me too. When I'm
mhm.
super duper in love and I'm just so crazy about
Oh
somebody,
yeah,
and when I'm just beyond devastated, those are the two moments when
yeah,
it's just like, open up the floodgates. I'm
yeah,
here. Let's do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll say one of the earliest times, 'cause at this point you are person number 5. So I try to make sure I play with my answers a bit and keep them a little fresh. But like one of the earliest times I recall falling in love with poetry, ironically, was Kanye West. Um, it like well, I'm gonna say ironic because music is poetry. But College Dropout, he had like some little excerpts in there and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But then late registration, like it was like after I was just listening to she was, I'm like, what is like? I was like, I started to like like with hip hop, like or even with R&B or whatever it is. When I
Mhm.
really love a song, sometimes I kind of picture the person writing it. Like, damn, how was
Yeah.
they was in it? Like, I'm like, shit, damn, how would I been when I was writing this shit? I'm like, woo. Like, can't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Like I wasn't surprised when I found out that Tupac was a poet. Like
yep,
he used to
yep,
write from a very early age. I'm like, that makes sense. Anybody who writes a rap is a poet to
it's a
me.
poet.
You can call it lyricist, you can call it a rap. It's all the same thing. Unless you're
Yeah.
talking about like E40 or Blueface. People who can't stay on beat, that don't work for
Yeah,
me. But most of them,
yeah, right. They ain't even because that shit, man, it make my ears hurt. I don't know what to listen to. It's like I'm playing like
like,
Sonic
where am I?
fucking
What's happening?
volleyball or something in my
Hmm.
head.
Fact.
Like, um, another part I have to hop on to is Deaf Poetry Jam. Watching it
Yes.
as a kid, like,
Yes.
um, and there's still episodes like I still when I need like some inspiration or something, I just go watch clips because they be on YouTube just to.
Yeah.
It's some that I've watched a million times and they still like rebirth. Like, okay,
I mean, when
yeah,
it's good,
like,
it's good.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
that's what I think is missing from like movies. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
Nowadays, and from music nowadays. Like how many songs
mm-hmm,
come out and it's your thing for like a week or two. And then you're like, I'm
yeah.
tired of it. It's like
It's
music
missing.
doesn't age well because I
They don't
don't
have
think
that
that
staying
it
power. It's for the
yeah.
time. It's for
I
right
don't think that
now.
it's
This
as
is.
as soulful as it was. People were actually writing how they felt. Now you're writing for likes. Like this person over here
Mm-hmm,
did this song, so I'm a kind of sort of copy the beat and copy the flow, so I could be the
yeah.
next. Like nobody cares about being original or being truthful and honest through their music. So we're missing that, I think.
You know what I think it is? I think it's because motherfuckers don't think they have to study anymore. Like people don't study anymore. I don't give a fuck what I'm
You know?
doing. I'm always gonna study my craft. And like I said, writing. I've been doing this shit since I was in like fourth grade. At this
Mhm.
point, I genuinely consider myself a master at writing. But it's so much more I
Yeah,
can learn and do. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So it's just like people don't do that. People like,
No,
oh, I'm good at
I
this.
mean, see, how
Take
old
a
are you?
class, read a book. What? About to be 32.
But why I thought you was 24. I've been out here telling people you
Girl,
24
it's
left and right.
fine. Oh,
No,
it's fine. It's the kind of people who
um,
be like, "Oh yeah, you about 25, right?"
look
I'm
at
like,
this color.
32.
I know that's what baby. Every time I tell somebody I'm 43, they go stop lying. What woman is gonna say she's 43 and she ain't? Stop playing.
Like,
But
okay.
I work for a college. That's what I do. I'm in human resources, but I used to work on the campus. And these kids out here could never have survived when I was growing up. Like when I tell them, you got Google and Alexa and Siri, we had the
Yeah.
Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay, there were no shortcuts. You had to get in it
Yeah.
and you had to do it. But with this microwave society, nobody, you can have somebody go buy your groceries for you and drop them on your porch.
Mm,
Who
yeah.
wants to work anymore? No.
Yeah. Nobody.
So they don't
Yeah,
want to
everybody
study a
wants
craft. They want
things
to look at a
instantly.
YouTube video, say, "Oh, I can do that," and now that's their degree. YouTube
Yeah.
University.
Yep. Yep. And it's like, and because it doesn't always have to be going to school. Like I went to a university and a community college, and I just realized school wasn't for me.
Yeah,
But like I still study outside of school. Like I'm
you can
constantly buying
study. Some
books,
people are
looking shit up
self-taught.
because
Hmm.
yeah, because like you said, we live in an age, and this is what really like nowadays trip me out. Motherfuckers say they can't do something or don't know how to
Hmm.
do. Like I get not. I don't know if it's something that you really want to do, and you just like I don't really know where to start or how to do this. Look it up.
Exactly.
That's
Now that's where
literally
the
it.
internet comes
Just
in handy. You
look
can
it up.
start and fall down that rabbit hole and figure out how
Mhm.
to cater it to you. You don't have to be like
Yeah,
anybody
yeah,
else. Like with me, when I write poetry, I rebel against the system. When I had to go and get my master's
yeah.
degree, and they'd be like, "We're gonna write a haiku," I used to be like, "I hate structured poetry. I want creative writing. Don't tell
Yeah.
me I got to do this, this, and this. You shut up. You do 3 4 3 4 5. I don't care what you do with your verses and your
Right.
stanzas. I'm gonna do what I do because it feels
Mhm.
good to me. And I
Yeah.
think when you have
Yeah.
the term creative writing, that's the
Mhm.
creative part. I don't have to follow your structure. So you can get in
Mhm.
and be rigid and follow the rules if you want. That may be how poetry speaks to you or how nonfiction or
Oh
fiction
boy.
speak to you.
Okay.
But I'm gonna do what I do. That's just me. I've
Yeah.
always been a
No,
rebel.
I feel that, but then that's so funny too. This because that ties into what I was saying too. Because like in the opposite, I was always excited to learn a new style and like add that to my skill sets. So it's like
Yeah.
now I mix styles.
Hmm.
Like when I write some shit, like it'll start off like this kind of style, and then I'm switch it over and completely blend it into something else,
Yes.
and
And so you're
it
making
comes
it
from
the
that.
creative writing part. You're
Yep.
taking what
Yeah.
you know and still making it your own. And I liked learning the new styles. I
Mhm.
just hated when
Yeah.
every time they gave a writing assignment, it was you got to do this one. Give me
Yeah.
the choice. We got 15 different choices and you just giving us two every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. I feel that. Let us explore.
yes.
Um, and so we kind of touched on the next question a little bit, but like, what do you think fuels your writing the most, or what have you maybe written about the most?
Depression, heartbreak, and love. Um,
Mm,
yeah, that's when I feel like I really know
yeah.
who I am. Based on when
Mm,
I'm just in a chaotic mode. Because when you're in
yeah.
love, you're all
Yeah.
over the damn place. And when you're scared or you're depressed and you're reaching into the dark crevices of you, things that you've been trying to compartmentalize and hide, when you face them head on, that's some scary stuff. And to me,
Yeah.
the catharsis is because I still write with pencil or pen and
Mhm.
paper. There's something about
Pen
hearing
and
that
paper
and
is my
feeling that.
shit.
Yes, hearing and
Letting it
feeling that makes
glide
it more real
across.
to me. And I can write it down
Yeah.
and let it go if I want to.
Mhm.
Sometimes I write it down and it becomes more real. Then the journey is
Mhm.
really a trip. So,
Mhm.
super emotional states.
I feel that. See, like I love the mention of like still writing because I do too, pen and paper.
Yeah.
And as you were saying that, I realized why I still do. Like I definitely still write on my laptop and my phone
Hmm.
and notepad and stuff like that. But when I'm really like in a zone, it's pen
Hmm.
and paper, and I can physically feel it
Yeah.
falling off of me. And
Yes,
like
leaving you.
it's
The
falling
energy.
off and coming onto the paper. Like
Don't
I
let me
can
catch the
literally
Holy
feel
Ghost
it.
out here. Don't play.
Okay. But just also the other part too of that is like poetry is bravery
Mhm.
things and really diving in there. That's what that is. And
Yeah.
I think when you dive into that dark part, it's scary. It's not easy because if it was easy,
Hmm.
everybody do it. We wouldn't have crazy motherfuckers out in the world. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, you know what I'm saying. But I think poetry, or just I'll say any art form, I
Hmm.
think helps lessen the blow of it, if that makes
Yes.
sense. Like it's gonna hurt no matter what, but when you have a medium to turn it into, it feels better or makes it easier to face, I think.
I think poetry is written therapy.
Yep. Oh. Yes, that's it. That's fucking it. That's it.
Yep. And it's something you
Yeah.
can always refer to. You can learn from it because if you find yourself in a similar situation again, you can go back and read those words and go, here are all the same
Right.
red flags. This is how we felt once. We're not doing this again.
Not doing this
So
again.
it's teachable moments. Yeah. Reminders, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'll say for me, it's similar. But mostly I think rejection or unrequited love has fueled most of my
Mm,
writing. Just
yeah.
the idea of because it's something I've like, I mean, struggle like getting older. I've accepted, life happens. You just might not be somebody's flavor. When I
Hmm.
was younger, that just it crumbled me, and it would just be
Yeah.
it would make me. I would look at everything about myself
Hmm.
as wrong.
Yeah.
And everything's bad. He didn't want you. Of
Because the
course
one
he would.
stupid
Why would
person.
he?
Ain't that something?
Yeah, why would he want you? Why would he? Jesus, look at that. Look at all of that. Like, and it's like and I would write things, but it's like it also like one of my favorite poems I wrote is this one called Emmy, because I also get in this mode sometimes where I'm like, all right, you too sappy. This nigga, fuck him. Like, so it's like I
Exactly.
wrote one called Emmy about like, you know, I turned it on his head. Like, damn, I really did get played. Like, I'm a stupid motherfucker. But it was like, but you were just so good at acting. You were an amazing actor. You deserve an Emmy. It was like my favorite TV. Like, you got your awards, like your award
Hmm.
speech ready, like, because you deserve you deserve an award. So I learned to like flip some of it on his head. But I think that's definitely what fuels a lot of mine.
See, and
Um,
I don't know that because being a girl and growing up when I did, like back then, we did not have girls approaching dudes. That was unheard of.
yeah.
Like it's like, oh my God, you clutching your invisible pearls. So when I don't, and as a whole, even though we do have some sisters out here who about that life now, as a whole,
Yeah.
women will never know the level of rejection that from young boys all the way up that men go through, because a lot of times
Yeah.
men are the ones who are pursuing.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even
So it's
speak to something like that, but I could imagine what kind of, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you got to see
yeah.
the person still. Like if you liked them and y'all got all your classes together, like I would
Or
be
y'all
like,
got a
hey, I
friend,
need to
like a
switch
friend group
all these
together or
classes.
something like that. Like,
Hmm.
and it's like, damn, you don't want to alienate your friends, but it's like, shit, this is hard. But it's like
Difficult, yeah.
moments like that that I've had to live through and experience that I was only able to because I wrote through them.
Good, good. I'm
Like,
glad you had a medium because, like I
yeah.
said, the people who are not creative, I wonder how they make it.
How do
Like,
you
what
make
do you
it?
have
Yeah.
as an outlet? I guess they go to therapy or
Or
they become
church.
serial killers.
Mhm.
I don't know,
Or that,
but I'm
right.
glad I have this talent.
Yeah, and then it's like I'll say too, just to hop on that, I'm glad also because I don't just write. Like if I want to sing it, I can sing it. If I need to dance it, I can dance it,
Yeah,
act it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I have these different. I've learned to use different mediums for different emotions or different levels of emotion. So it's like today I might need to just dance it out. Like or today I might need to fucking write a quick little short horror story and switch what I'm going
just get
through
it
and
out.
make it,
Yeah,
yeah, just to get it
just
out.
it out.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that
Who is
comes
one
from
of your
our
oh yeah,
ancestors.
go
You
ahead.
think back to Africa and those villages, they had
Oof,
storytellers. Come on, you know, we invented every
yes.
genre of music.
Oh,
That's just what we do. And when you're in touch
okay.
with your roots and
And
with who
Beyonce
you
about to
are,
remind him about country, but I'm
they,
just
listen.
she about to let him know, remind
And
their
that's funny
ass.
because we got so many Black country artists out there who we never heard about because I don't personally listen to country.
Yeah.
But Beyonce's not the first to do it. It's just that she's the biggest name. So hopefully she can
But the
bring
good
light
thing
to
I do
all of
like, that's I was just about to say, actually, I've been like since then, I've been
us.
seeing a lot more of them just
Yep.
it's like that's
They're like, hey,
I
I'm
love
here.
that.
I've
You
been
know what I'm
here.
saying?
This ain't Beyonce's
If
world.
y'all liked her song, come check out mine.
Yep.
But like, yeah, and just hop on that too. Like, yeah, just creativity. I
In
love being
general,
able
yeah.
to just try different things. You know what I'm saying? Just yeah. Okay. Anyway, who's one of your favorite poets?
Edgar Allan Poe is my favorite poet of
Yeah,
all time. Dr. Maya
I love that.
Angelou, Robert Frost, Langston
Yes.
Hughes, like Ernest Hemingway. I like the old greats that a lot of
Yeah.
young
I
people
mean,
now probably don't know who they are. You know, and I had a book of poetry from Tupac too. So I just, I'm all over the place. If you're good with
okay.
words, I'm there.
I first off, all those answers, yes. I love every single one of them. Um, the Edgar Allan Poe thing, I love him because again, horror,
Exactly. I'm gonna
and
say
it was
he was
like he was the
twisted. So if you
first.
like horror, that's your guy.
Yeah, he was the first horror poet I saw. Like, I didn't know that was a thing that you could
Do you
write.
know that
But
he
like
is credited with
like
being the first creator of detective work? Like they say
ooh,
he was the one that brought out like the reason we have all these other detective shows and books and things like that.
mhm.
They say most people say that he is the godfather of that.
Huh. That's very interesting. Okay, I'll have to dive into that. I want to mention though that you mentioned Robert Frost. Love Robert Frost, but so one of my and this is like it ties all the way in. When I first started taking writing serious, I was going through my little emotional shit. This is around the time the Twilight movies came out.
Lord,
And
I love those
which one
movies.
is it? I do. Oh my god! To this day, like when it's a rainy day, I'm like, it smells like Twilight around here. Like I might want to go ahead, and they're awful. Like, do not get me wrong,
Did you
they
ever
are
read the
just
books?
no.
Don't.
Oh,
I don't
I
know
hadn't
who
read.
adapted the screenplay, but Stephanie Myers is the worst writer. I mean, I was cringing. I was trying to read the book, and I said, I can't do this. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
stick to the. I'm gonna
yeah,
stick to the movies. She's a terrible writer.
yeah. I've heard they're not. Yeah, but they're like you look at it. Her whole aim was like teenage girls for real. So it's like unless your ass is like
But I was
between
hella grown when they
12 and like
came out,
17.
and I was
Yeah.
torn. I was Team Jacob 6 days out the
Oh,
week,
I
but
was
then
team.
Edward would look at her, and I would go, I love him. Like I was a mess. I was a mess.
Listen, my so first of all, team Jacob, um, and
He was so good.
um, the crazy thing is, personality wise, I more so want to be a vampire, but I was just like, nah, Team Jacob Blonde, because like fuck Edward, Bella, you are a dumb bitch. He's making you like just completely forget your whole life, like terrible movies. I
But then
mean,
when
really
we
just
find
bad.
out
But
why she was close to Jacob, that just creeped me out. It was like pedo vibes. I was like, y'all could have did
like
something else.
that's why
Ew. Yeah.
he always could sense that her daughter would be his wife. Like,
Ew. That's gross.
okay, anyway.
That's gross.
But the I believe it's the second one, New Moon. Yeah. So it opens up with a Robert Frost poem.
Mhm.
One of my favorites, Fire and Ice. Like some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. What I've
Mhm.
tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for the destruction, ice will also be great and would suffice. That's my shit. And I learned that from that movie.
That
And
movie.
that's when I met Robert Frost.
Mhm.
Because like that
You see
opened
how
and I was like,
beautiful that
damn, who
is,
said
though.
that? Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just gotta sometimes, use the right medium and bring in new audiences. As young
Yeah.
as you were, that's the first time you've heard of that man. He's out
And
6 million years ago.
I was
I
like,
love
and I
that.
was like, oh, this is
I love
like, I
that.
loved it. And I decided to look into him more. So yeah, you named some heavy hitters. I'll say for me, one of my favorites, and their duo is Floetry. Since we were talking
I
about
love that
Def
answer.
Poetry Jam, they
Hmm.
have like 3 different clips from way back when they did it or whatever. And one of my favorites is Everybody's Heard. And it's just like they to think, because it sounds like a song when they recite their poems. So it's like
See,
I can
I
hear
think
the
any
music
poem could be
now.
turned into a song.
Yep, yeah, because that's what I learned too when I started writing songs. I was like, oh, this is just poetry.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
seriously,
and
to
it's,
put
you know
to
what
a
I'm
beat.
saying?
Poetry
It's
put to a beat. That's it. You can sing it, you can rap it, you can do whatever. It's all poetry.
because you can hear the song as it's being recited. Like you can hear
Yeah,
it. You hear the melody almost.
yeah.
And I think they are like some of the masters of that. Of just making that feel come off in their music and in their poetry. Like it literally, they don't feel separate.
I
I
mean,
feel
that's why
like
they called it flowetry. They like, we gonna
yeah,
rap
they
this
just
poetry. We gonna
yeah,
flow this
flow,
poetry. That's it.
yeah, legit. Because like
Yeah.
yeah, I think of like butterflies and say yes.
Baby, did
Uh,
you now I just whenever somebody mentioned butterflies, I gotta say, as much as they killed that song, Michael destroyed that song.
oh, he
Oh, and
murdered. Oh,
he was like, I'm so cold. I'm gonna keep you on, Marsha. I'm gonna keep you little ad libs.
yeah,
Watch what
yeah.
I do though.
But watch
God.
what I add to it. Yeah, I love
Whew. Love it.
talent.
Yeah, say yes
Yeah,
is
yeah.
say yes
I
have you
made it.
saying yes when I shouldn't have.
Okay, I probably had a lot of motherfuckers saying a lot of motherfuckers saying yes when they should have been saying no, no,
No.
no, no, no. Just saying. Go back to the Destiny Child
Facts.
days.
Yep.
Um, so, what is maybe one of the favorite poems that you've written yourself?
Oh no, I can't.
Yeah,
I
that's what I say one of. Like, it don't have to be just the ultimate, but just like one of them. That's
I
like,
think
okay.
Forever One. I have, oh my God, I have so many that I love depending on what mood I'm in.
Yes.
But Forever One
Okay.
did it for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
what's that about? I like how that
It's,
sounds.
you know
Like,
what?
I think I get it, but I mean, if you want to share it, by all means, it is a poetry show now. I was gonna ask if you wanted to recite one. So I mean, if you
Sure. Okay.
go
Now
ahead,
the beautiful thing about this is I read this to someone once and he thought it was about him.
oh, they always
And
do.
he was like, you know what? I really love that. I appreciate that. I feel the same way too. And I was like, I wrote this 10 years ago. And I wrote it to myself. I wrote it to myself. That's how dope it was. But okay. So it's kind of
Yes.
short. So I'll go ahead and read real quick.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. I've never felt like this, needing to exist inside of what you brought to me. I was locked away, buried deep in my own abyss, living in that ignorant bliss, safely wrapped in my cocoon, under the illusion that I was fine. You came to me, so simple and so sweet, disguising your power, masking that energy, offensively slipping past my defenses, You slammed into me, penetrating deeply. I welcomed you inside, loving the way your soul read my mind, cover to cover. Discreetly, you removed my binds, releasing your energy to flow freely through me, bringing untainted love to me, a love I wasn't ready for. You scared me. I felt the need to flee. Love, unfiltered and raw, was drowning me. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see. Panic swelled up inside of me. I rebuilt my fortress to protect me from this. I slammed the doors to hide in my abyss. Only I trapped you in with me, forcing myself to deal with my feelings. Through your eyes, I see your soul kissing mine while our essence intertwines. The rarest three-part connection, you and me, our psyche. Now I can finally be free, fulfilling my destiny, carefree and willing to be happy in this, my love for you, the purest I've ever felt. I fought with it, I fought for it, and I won. I bathe in the luxuriousness of this eternal bliss as if I'm basking in the sun. You are my forever one. So that poem, thank you, baby. That poem was
Yes, I
about
love it.
me coming to the realization that after an abusive mom who told me I'd never be anything, after an abusive husband who told me the same, that I
Mhm,
had to get into therapy, find who I am. That girl that was
mhm,
locked in there who hated herself, break her free from those binds, love on her like nobody had ever loved me
mhm.
before, and become one with
Just,
myself.
oh, God damn it.
But anytime I've ever shown that
But
or said that,
yeah,
everybody's like, oh my God, you're so in love. I'm like, I love that y'all think I'm talking about a relationship with somebody
yeah.
else. This is my love
Listen,
for me.
my favorite genre of poetry is when people might write something like that and they're talking about themselves, but people think it's
Yep.
so written in a way that it seems like it's about somebody else. Love it. That whole the like we've talked about it before too on my end, like just that whole journey of self-love that
Mhm.
it's so important.
But I think
um
it's the
and
hardest
if
thing
you
for us to do. I think so
oh
many of us
yeah,
can love.
yeah,
We can love our family, our siblings, our kids, our parents, people that we're sleeping with. But for some reason, we don't give that
yeah.
same energy and you know what I'm saying, just drive into loving ourselves. I wonder why that
I,
is.
I I have a few different theories, and I think it could be different reasons, but I think one of the reasons is we make our pain separate from the world. We go through things and we look at it as if we're the only person that's ever gone through it, the only one that's going through it, the
Mhm.
only one that's going to understand. And it's like there's billions of people who exist now and billions who've been here and died. You are not the first
The only
person
way.
to go through this. And shitty, it's your turn, but you're not the
Mhm.
first person. And it's like that lessens the feeling of being alone, I think. But like when we do that, we just we make it harder to get
Mhm.
past or to deal with because it's like
Yeah.
a lot in our head it's just way worse than anything anybody
Yeah.
else could ever experience or go through or see. And it's like and it's not that deep. Like
Yeah.
yes, it's deep,
And
but it's
sometimes
not that deep.
we just give so
Yeah,
much of ourselves to everybody else that when we're done, we don't have anything left
yeah,
for self.
yeah,
So
yeah. And
yeah.
oh, actually I had a conversation about that recently. I think it was a boom. And it was just like about how people it's like your own cup, like how you just saying, when your own cup
Mhm.
isn't full. I think sometimes what happens is people are so worried about what's in other people's cups sometimes that they're not paying attention to what's in their own.
Yes.
So like, like
Yes.
you have a whole treasure that you don't even know what it is yet because you're still looking at that treasure,
Her,
that treasure,
his,
that treasure,
yeah.
that treasure. Like
Nosy
Makana,
butt.
you have a story. Like hone into your story. Um so okay. So I got one right for you right quick too from book number
Okay.
2, poetry book. Um and so this one is called Stupidity Leak.
You wrote a poetry book?
Oh yeah, I have 3.
What? Are they on Amazon too?
Uh-huh.
You're ridiculous. Okay.
So this one, Stupidity Leak, is one of my favorites because the title came from like a lot of times, like I just get inspiration from wherever the fuck. And it's literally from the movie Scream. and there's a
Oh Lord.
part where like where like the guy says something that's like kind of fucked up or like thoughtless, and you know his girlfriend like smacks him on the head like stupidity's leak, like motherfucker, hello, like why would you say that? And it made me relate it to my feelings for this person. I was like, God damn it, you having a stupidity leak. You didn't want to text him, your stupidity leaking, like stop it. So yeah,
It's
someone need to write quick.
amazing where you find your inspiration. I freaking love it.
Man, I'm telling you, it's the bright side of ADD. Okay, so you're so fucking stupid. At this point, that's all that they can say to me. Because when it comes to you, I always have another stupidity leak. I know I shouldn't answer the call or reply to the message. I know exactly where it's headed, yet I'm still hoping for a blessing. Is it stupid to have hope? Yeah. Is it stupid to dream? Hell yeah. Because I've dreamt about 100 ways that you fall for me. Another stupidity leak. And I pray one of those dreams comes to fruition. Keep telling myself that they're premonitions, but I know I'm tired of hitting and missing, thinking my heart's being gripped that it always seems to slip. But you're my favorite dream. Stupidity leak. It's almost like my heart and my mind don't speak, and my eyes don't remind my heart of what it's seen, and I just end up back in the same old scene, and somehow I love it. To me, feels like love, and I love you. I know you love me. Or am I just having another stupidity leak?
I know that's right. I felt that. I
Yeah.
know that's right. You know what? God, sometimes, and you know what? That's why I mentioned, sometimes there just can be a passion or a vibe so great that you're willing to go through anything just to get a glimpse of it again. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's almost like a heroin addict or a crackhead chasing that
Mhm.
initial high. You'll never get it again, but you just want to stay
Yeah.
around long enough in the hopes that it pops back up.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. And that's yeah, that was love that. I'm this was great.
I know. I'm like, I just
I
love
love
you so much.
yeah, no, the vibe is so great. I appreciate it. And again, I love just talking to people and having like intimate conversations, but I love poetry, the
Yeah.
fucking like love poetry. So to
Yep.
be able to take a second and talk about that and share some is just a blessing.
Yeah.
Um, I will say, I guess yeah, I'll go with the last question. Fuck it. Do you have any advice for either a young poet or just someone who's never really taken it serious, but really, considering it or thinking about writing?
I think you and I talked about some things earlier, but I would say read poetry. I think it's really important that you submerge yourself, immerse yourself in that world and read different poets. Find out who you love and journal. Do a lot of journaling. You don't have to right off the bat know how to do a format, know what types there are. Just make sure you start writing and
Yes.
just don't make it a chore. I want you to do it
Yeah.
because you want to. This is not, oh, I need to practice. I need to become a master tomorrow. Poetry is love,
Mhm.
it's emotions, it's freeing. Keep it that way. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, though, like I love that you said that because I think that's one of my biggest pieces of advice when it comes to writing. Just write.
Yeah.
Um, because even with journaling, I've spoken to some people sometimes like I can't, like I don't know what to say, or like at this point I've been journaling for like 10 years. So yeah, I have
Mhm.
those days are full. And some days I might just write a line because I just need to say something just to say it right quick.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't have like we have, I think, these ideas of what things should be, but these are personal
Yes.
expressive things.
Yes.
So get it out how you get it out.
Yep.
Just get it out. Just
That
write.
part.
Like everything I write isn't a fucking gem, but it's because I allowed myself to write these duds that I know how to write a gem.
Yes.
Like I
That part. Honestly, yes. That's so true.
like just fucking get it out.
Hmm. I agree.
um I don't want to stop. This is great. um oh man, no, I love you. This is great. This is great. I want to say okay, so yeah, so fuck it, I'll just shout out. So yeah, this is book number
Yeah,
2.
I'm going to look at, you better believe I'm going to look them all up.
Yeah, you gotta. I'm telling. So like the first one is a little more dreamy, like a little more like sexual, more about desire, and just like I said,
Mm.
it's about lucid dreaming. So like I've had a lot of lucid dreaming experiences. I kind of incorporated that, and then the second one is a little more dark, little more sad, a little more of my feelings. And
Mhm.
the last one, because it's like telling a story almost, is
Okay.
like both. It's like I was like the first two are titled boy and the last one was titled man, because it was like I learned to handle both sides of
Yeah,
life,
bridge them
right?
together. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, check those out. Before I
for
let you
sure.
go, love, let the people know where to find you and follow you and all that good stuff.
You can find me in the fragrance community on YouTube. I am Opinionated Sense. You can also find me at
Yes.
opinionated_sense on Instagram. I also have a radio show on opulenceradio.com called Truthfully Opinionated. And I play Mondays at 8 p.m. CST and Wednesdays 9 p.m. CST. So that's an hour later if you EST. But I'm
Love
also getting ready to come out with another podcast, which I'll be announcing and talking more about later.
Okay, hey, I love that. First off, shout out to Amron and Opulence Radio. I
Yes,
love her so much. I had, like every time I talk to her, it's like she just sounds like communications. Like she sounds like
she
she went
does. And
to
I
like.
think that's what she does for a living.
Uh,
So that makes
yeah,
sense.
I believe it. I fucking believe it. I love it. But yes, thank you so much for doing this with me,
It's
love.
always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
Yes,
I look
yes,
forward
always,
to this. There are
always.
so many people who go, "You want to be on my show?" I'm like, "Sure,
All
when?" And then
right.
when you go, I'm like, "Yay, when?" So yeah.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. I try. The meditation, the journaling, and the poetry helps.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, love. I again appreciate you. Have a great night. And
You too.
shout out to my little mini author there. Tell him to
Oh
keep writing.
yes, he's working on
Yeah,
book 2 as well.
that's I'm sorry, that's right. That's fucking right. There we go. I love it.
Yeah.
Have a good night, love.
Night.
Bye.
And the tea